Okay, news that came out the last couple of days was Nikon's brought out 3 new things. One is the Nikon D5500, which I'll have a quick little chat about that. It's also brought out a lens, the 55-200 f4, whatever. And then also a new Nikon 300mm f4. Now this is the one I want to talk about. Everyone else is like, the Nikon 5500, ooh, whoopie-doo, whatever. This lens is actually far more interesting for me. Anyway, okay, so first of all, the Nikon D5500 is, all I can say is an astonishing camera. It's hard to really argue against it. I didn't really look very much at the 5001, no, the 5000, the 5100, the 5200, the 5300. They missed out the 400. And they've gone to the 5500. So they've done 5 iterations of this. The 5000 only had a 16 or 17 megapixel, and then the rest of all had 24 megapixels. And now it's up to a native ISO of 25,000, which is astonishing. 5 frames a second, full variable touch screen LCD, 3.2 inches as well. An astonishing camera. It really is just like, wow, that's packing a serious amount of punch. And I keep on thinking, compared to my Nikon D700, the full frame beast which I had, this is double the megapixels. It's the same frames a second at 5 frames a second. It's got a substantially more extended ISO range as well compared to what the Nikon D700 had. However, possibly not quite as clean. And the flippy out screen, I love flippy out screens. They're so good. So what I would say is that is a highly capable DX format, so cropped sensor camera. Which I think if you can't get amazing photos with that, you're doing it the wrong way. The only thing which I'm a little bit fussy about is that it's even got full 1080p at 60 frames a second. What a beast! What a beast! And when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, is there any reason I would advise anyone to get the Nikon D7100 or 7200, wherever it is nowadays? And I'm like, this seems like a total beast of a functions. The only thing I would say though is that this coming out, they're saying in dollars it's gonna be like $700-800, whatever. I would say if you are thinking about this one, wait 2 months and then it will be £200 cheaper easily. Or the other thing is there's very little difference between this and its previous generation, the 5400, which same frames a second. It also had internal GPS. It didn't have quite as many photos per charge, but that may have been due to the GPS. It had a flippy out screen. It wasn't touch screen. That's about the only thing. There's something about optical low pass filters being removed and all that stuff. I wouldn't pay too much attention to that at all. But what I would think is that if there's companies selling the D5400 for sale for cheap now, I think, ooh, that may be a good £300-400 saving that you can get with going for that one. So that sounds pretty. That is a badass camera. If you are getting into photography, you know somebody's getting into photography, this is an astonishing camera, which I would highly recommend anyone to have, even as just a second body. But if you're getting into photography, that's something which can take you a long distance away and at a very reasonable price. Now, the next thing, where was I? Let's see, back on the Nikon site, Nikon UK. I also brought the 55-200mm, whatever. Now, the interesting one, this one, full frame, but not your bag, the new Nikon 300mm f4. Now Nikon does do a 300mm f4 already, but it also does an f2.8. And I was like, oh, you want a 2.8? Yeah, you do. But this one has got VR in it, vibration reduction, and it just looks cool. Yeah, you've kind of got to agree. This totally looks cool. On the US, again, this UK side is not really telling us any prices. The main thing is it's weighing under a kilogram, substantially under a kilogram. It's like 755 grams. That's pretty good. It's also saying 4.5 stops of VR. Now, in terms of what they say, your maximum shutter speed, the slowest shutter speed you should have with your lens should be the equivalent of your focal length. So a 300mm lens on a full frame camera should mean that you shouldn't ever really go below a 300th of a second. You don't actually get that. Do you get that setting on a camera? Maybe you do. Depends on how you set the changes. But so 4.5 stops. I'm going to do some maths here. That is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 0.5. I'm going to go around about 20. So 20 times slower. So, hold on. 300 divided by 20 equals 15th of a second. 15th of a second with a 300mm lens. That is the equivalent of magic, witchcraft, sorcery, Harry Potter, something like that. It's something which physically just should not actually be able to be done. A 15th of a second at 300mm f4. Mind exploding. The main thing is it looks cool. Price-wise, though, this is where we're getting interesting here. So the old one we're seeing is around about £1,000. This new one is looking like it's going to be, once you convert it into UK money, you add on the 20% VAT compared to the America, and possibly import tax as well, it's probably still going to be around about £1,800, which will mean it's double the price of the old one, but it does have this astonishing VR and it looks so much cooler. So everyone knows photography is all about how cool your gear is. But here's where it gets interesting. There's other options. There's a 120 to 300 f2.8, which is £2,250. Now this one is a zoom. You've got a little bit of range. It's a 2.8 and OS. That is Sigma Chat for vibration reduction, optical stabilization. So you've got it there as well, and that's saying it's a 4-stop optical stabilization. So you're getting pretty close. As a price-wise, I'm suspecting that will be around about maybe a £300 to £400 difference for this lens, which I think has been accredited to being pretty damn awesome. That I think that £400 for is just that little bit of zoom range you're getting, and an f2.8. That could be handy. Sigma also has another one, 300 f2. This one's got no VR in it or optical stabilization, so that's only a bummer. But again, it looks goddamn cool. f2.8 as well. And then let's see, did I do that Sigma twice? I did that Sigma twice, and the last one is Sigma 100 to 300 f4, already no optical stabilization, but that's only 500 quid. So if you're wanting 300 f4 and you're going to be shooting at shutter speeds which are faster, if you're doing total outdoor shots in the sunshine, you're shooting fast action sports or wildlife or something like that, then you're not really going to be going below like 500, 800th, 1000th of a second kind of shutter speed. Then the optical stabilization doesn't really have that much effect or that much benefit to you. So it's a bit of an odd one. But f4 is quite dark, so you have to bump your ISO up. But 100 to 300, that's a good amount of zoom there. In fact, you could almost come with 3 times zoom. And if you're putting that onto a DX body, then that is a 3 plus a half. That's a 450 millimeter equivalent field of view, focus, depth of field, something like that. But yeah, so in the end, what I would say is this new Nikon one does look damn, it looks cool. I like the size of it. I like the size of it, like I very much like the shape. It's quite a sexual shape. I'm sure we could all agree on that. Compared to this one, which is just a bit of a tube. Nobody likes a tube. Same with the Sigma one, tube. That Sigma one, that looks cool. And then the last one, that was kind of cool as well. My personal choice would be, I'm definitely thinking I would wait out for the new Nikon one. But the prices of the Nikon 300mm f2.8 is painful. Hold on, let's find that. Holy crap. Oh no, that's in dollars. Okay, so that doesn't quite equate, but that is for the 300mm f2.8 super telephoto prime lens VR2, that's going at $5,700, and that's already saving $900 there. So we're talking about the difference between $2,000 to $5,500. So like 2.5 times the price for getting just the f2.8. And I think that one is a hella heavy and big. Is there anything here telling me the weight? Item weight 6.39 pounds. Jesus Christ. Meanwhile, the new one is only 755 grams. I can't do the maths of that in my head. That's like 2 pounds, I think. If a kilogram is 2.2 pounds, 750 grams must be just like 2 pounds or under 2 pounds. Big, huge weight difference. It's a pretty cool, compact 300mm VR f4 lens. That's one I'd definitely like to see in the future. So, yeah. Yeah. Does anybody care about the other one that came out? Nope, nobody does. What was 55 it? To 300 f4. This is just a total pants kit lens of nothing. What are they trying to say is better? Dramatically sharp, small system, 300mm. Is that something anybody would use? No, that is just something that gets bundled with cameras for free because it's just so extremely portable and lightweight, cheap and rubbish. Well, I'm sure it's good. No, it's not. Okay, there you go. Bye-bye.